Hi there. Welcome to our chat time. So glad that you've joined me, and I hope that you're sensing that life is going to get better again. It's going to start to normalize. We don't have to be living in constant fear and terror, and that maybe things are going to be okay. That's what I'm hoping that you're starting to feel and sense. This really is a tough time. I've never, in my whole life, never been through a tougher time than this. Many people would say, well, 9/11 was certainly worse than this. But 9/11 happened, and it happened within minutes. And boy, was it devastating, but there was no more to it. And we didn't get hit or attacked anymore. And now this is really difficult to see all the stuff in the world going on in addition to the virus. And so it's a very, very tough time. And so that's why I like talking about Lose It for Life, because it's an inside out program. And we're trying to find that place where we're no longer defined by our weight. And I'll tell you, this virus has been really tough. And now all the other stuff going on can produce a lot of anxiety and can put us in a state. And that's what we're going to talk about on this week's Lose It for Life, or today's Lose It for Life. So this is session number 9 of Lose It for Life. And here I want to talk to you about one of the things that really does cause a lot of us to eat. There are folks who are emotional eaters. I think a lot of people are emotional eaters. I know a woman who was, I would say she was probably 50 pounds overweight. And she was, I guess when I talked to her, probably 60. And at no time had she ever put emotion and food together. She just thought she liked to eat. And she never saw that in her anxiety or loss or whatever, that she actually ate, and it became a form of medication. Well, if we've ever needed a little medication around here, it's now. But maybe we don't. Maybe we need to look at something that's driving the eating, and that is what we all have come to know as depression. You know, over the years, and we've been doing New Life for 31 years, the one statistic that never goes away is the depression statistic. It goes up and comes down from its peak, but it never, ever goes below where it's been. We've made such little progress with depression. So I want to talk to you about that. You know, sometimes there's an experience that puts us into depression, like a loss, a death, or something. Now, it's interesting. A lot of times these instant depressions where I'd say, it's like, boom, there it is. This unexpected thing hits us. A lot of times that takes our appetite away. A lot of times it really sinks us so deeply into a pretty quick depression, but a deep depression, we don't want to eat. And then the eating comes as we're kind of finding ourselves and getting out of it. But there's that, I call it the boom experience of depression. It is an unexpected loss or trauma or event that is hurtful. The second type of depression is not boom, but I call it echo in the language of sound. And that's where I'm kind of, you could say I'm resuming what I've felt before, or there's a repetition of this despair. It feels common. It's something I've gone through before. It's painful, and I hate it. But it's here. And one of the difficulties with this echo, this resumption of depression, I don't know when it's going to end, and I don't know how hard it's going to be. And that's really tough. I've been through it before, and maybe you didn't do so well the first time, and so it took a lot out of you. So now you have less as you're going through it. And so it's really, really important for us to get whatever help we need as this kind of crops up again. And hopefully, if we get the right kind of care, it'll be less time than more. I'd say in the language of sound, there's another type of depression, and I don't relate this to the big boom or the echo, but I relate it to silence. And that is that I'm starting to function differently. And I don't know why. And there's something that's creeping up on me. And I've never had it before. And I don't know what it is. But man, it's painful. And it doesn't announce itself. It's silent. And I don't see it coming. I don't know what to do about it. And I don't have any encouragement around me. So there's no one speaking truth into my life. I don't feel God is present in my life. That's what depression does. I have no guide or nothing. So I'm silent and I'm miserable because this thing just silently, gradually crept up on me and got worse and worse. That's a horrible thing when we experience that. And we wake up one day and we go, wow, this desire just to lay here in bed, that's not normal. It's depression. And so many of us, when we're in this depressed state, after we get out of that instant loss state, we eat. And we eat for comfort. We eat to change our mood. We really want something. And we're so good, we'd never do drugs or something like that, but we'll do the food. And then there's a fourth thing that I think some of us experience. And in the language of sound, I would call it floodwaters gushing all around us. And what I'm trying to illustrate there is sometimes we just feel like we're drowning, and we're overwhelmed with the rush of the water and the pressure that's going to drown us, and we're worried and we're anxious, and we've just never had this kind of stuff before. And so we eat. We eat, and it's not good. So what happens when we end up in these places? Well, we have people around us, and they see it. And there's some things that they could do that would be so helpful, like listen to us, come alongside us, spend time with us, ask what seems impossible that needs to be done. I'll tell you, the toughest thing ever is to tell somebody, I'm so incapacitated that I can't pay the bills. And I have money in the account, but I can't do it. And then ask them if they'd write the checks for you. Or set up the automatic payment so you don't have to write the checks anymore. But we get to this place where we're really struggling and we don't know what to do. And the people around us, we're kind of looking for them to help us. Some of them say some very, very superficial things like, well, real Christians don't experience this. So when we hear something like that, oh, well, it must not be a real Christian. And boy, we're off and eating, trying to kind of calm things down or medicate what's inside. Sometimes people say shaming things. Come on, pull yourself up. You can fix this. Or, hey, have you seen yourself lately? You're letting yourself go. You can do better than this. It's pretty crummy to be shamed that way. What's worse is they know they want to shame you, and so they don't want to be around you because they don't want to slip. We need people to be around us and not shame us versus avoid us because they don't want to shame us. And then there's another S word, superficial, shaming, shunning. They just don't want to be around us. And maybe because we're so miserable, we don't even know how much we complain. And the more miserable we are, the more food we're tempted to consume. And so we've got to break this from the inside out if it's going to impact our weight. So here's some other words that I think are important. First one is to learn. If I'm going through this, if I could get a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen, and I could try to learn something about myself, and I'll write it down, because If I write it down, it's not just some little thing that flits through my brain. Oh, wow, I didn't realize that, but now I've got it forever if I write it down. And so I want to write down what is heavy on my heart. What are the things I'm thinking about or feeling? What's heavy on my heart? What's worrying me? It's on my heart. What am I feeling horrible about? And that's on my heart. The regrets. What's up in my head? What am I telling myself? What are the things that maybe are leading me to feel bad? You know, one of the worst lies ever is that I'm only as good as the stuff I do. Or I've got to perform for you to love me. I've got to do something for you to love me. So maybe I could learn that that's not true and that would produce some healing. Secondly, maybe I really do need to pay somebody to listen to me. Maybe it's a therapist or something, but I need somebody to listen. And I need someone to lead me. If I'm in the desert and I don't know how to get out, I don't know where the nearest water is, I need the guide to help me. If I'm in the mountains, I don't know where the shelter is, I need a guide. Well, maybe that's the answer, is that I get somebody to come in, I pay them to help lead me to hope and transformation and to a new way of being. There's some M words that I would suggest you evaluate if you're experiencing depression. First M word is motion. Are you moving? Are you moving your body? Are you getting some exercise? Studies show that really great exercise can equal or surpass the medication that some people are on. Of course, I think if that's true, you're probably on the wrong medication. But boy, movement is so important. And then meals. What am I doing? Am I eating 6 meals a day? I need to be. Not 6 big meals, but just a little bit every couple hours. I'm keeping my blood sugar level. That's lowering my cravings, getting more protein in. I'm not doing the big old meal where I feel like I got to eat everything I can right now. If I know I'm going to eat in 2 hours, I can lower the amount I'm putting on my plate because I know, hey, a couple hours I'm going to be eating a lot of a new snack or whatever. And so I can restrain myself. Third thing, you've got motion, meals, medication. I might need to be on medication. Medication for depression, it isn't like dope or something like that. It doesn't, alter your mood to euphoria and you get hooked on it. No, it changes things so that your brain can function normally. It might be, I think it is, I go see a psychiatrist for the proper medication to treat my attention deficit disorder, or sometimes I have been depressed and I have taken antidepressant medication, which also helps the ADHD or the ADD. So maybe you look into that. It's not evil to be on a medication that you need. Another M word is mentor. I'm a mentor to somebody that's 16 years old, and maybe we all need a mentor. I'm going to be talking to my mentor at 9:30 tomorrow morning. So if you don't have anybody putting stuff into you that's true and real and helping you evaluate, it's something to think about. And then finally, we need to look at what are my misperceptions about myself. Am I misperceiving my value? And I don't think I'm valuable at all. Am I misperceiving God, thinking that this is all a punishment of God? What are my misperceptions? Let's look at that and let's deal with that. I hope that that's helpful to you, because if you're struggling with food and you're not doing anything about the depression, it's going to be close to impossible for you to lose that weight and keep it off. But if you use the food as an example, or your weight as an example, to go deal with the depression that's there, you may find yourself no longer trapped by a drive to consume to try to medicate what is down deep inside. I want the best for you. And I really believe that the best comes, especially in tough times, when we're looking at anything that drives our eating, increases our appetite, causes us to lose control. Depression is treatable. It's common. There are great new medications that can help you. And I hope and pray that you'll get the help that you need, whatever that help is. And I'll see you next time, right here.